Okay. I was sitting here talking the entire time and you can't even hear me. But hello, greetings, happy Wednesday. We're here for another Healing is War edition. Sit back, listen to the theme music cuz that's what we do every week. We theme it out. So I'm going to go off camera. Just just relax, get you something to drink. We got the show coming, don't you know? I hope you're dancing because that's what we do every day. You dance, right? Y'all better be dancing. Move those arms up in the air. Move those shoulders everywhere. Move your waist. Move your waist. Move your waist. Move your waist. Ah, 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 ah. Some of us are so afraid to move our bodies. Uh oh. There go my. I'm moving stuff around so much. There goes my headpiece. I gotta tuck it back in. Okay, let me turn this off. Okay, I got all kinds of stuff going on. You gotta laugh at yourself. If you can't laugh at yourself, how can you deal with life? Are you really living if you cannot laugh at yourself? A lot of us are too serious, and this used to be me, and it was because of my upbringing. It was because of what was going on in the collective. It said you got to act a certain way. You got to have decorum. You got to have decorum at work. You got to act this way at church. You got to do a massage like this. All the gotta. I'm thinking back to one of my colleagues when I was in uh, Energetic Alignment Academy. Kristen, she would teach you how to dump the shoulds because it's all this stuff we say we should do. And y'all look at my nails. My nails are so pretty. They are I'm getting used to working with them, but hey, I got them. I was like, I wanted to do different hair, but I couldn't get the hair figured out with these nails. And this is one thing I'm definitely grateful for because if this was back in 2019, 2020, even 2023, doing massages, I could not wear nails. There was no way I would. Now, I did have some colleagues who would wear nails, but not me. There was be no way I would want to lug around a massage table. I that was not me. I said I gotta do this differently. But let's start recording. Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Healing is War. My name is Elmira. I am your host on this podcast. We discuss the shadows of starting or continuing your healing or spiritual journey. Because on this path, you're going to face a lot of things. That's why, with our guests and when I'm just on here solo, we discuss this. And today's topic is friends with grief. How did this come about? Just last week, I had to deal with grief again. Many of you might know, and you may not know, I had a pet frog, Frida. We just got her in March, and last Thursday, she died. That broke me up. I was actually doing some meditation, and then I went downstairs, like I'm checking on her periodically throughout the day, and she was on her back. I said, "What is going on?" Because these African dwarf frogs, they do this. They customarily will lie on their back. They kind of play dead. But this time she was really dead. And that day I was just crying. And my boyfriend, he was away, so I had to call and tell him because he's was away at work. He's destitute as well because I was like our little baby, our little child for 3 months. I love that frog. And I even had to take the night off from one of my tutoring sessions and let my student know I couldn't do it. But because of how how do I say it, the relationship I have with grief, I didn't allow the brunt of the sadness to last that long because I've learned to become friends with grief. Yes, I was in tears. I had to lay on the couch. And then the next day, I cried because I went downstairs and I was like, no, she's not there. I was going to look for her to play with her, look for her to feed her. She was not there. And so today I want to discuss my path, like how I got here and how you can get here too. And there's probably some things you can chime in as well, how you've confronted grief. Because a lot of times we think that grief is this bad thing, this wretched thing. No, grief is nothing but the other side of love. For anybody who has loved, and that's who we are as humans, we love. If you're genuine and you don't have a callous heart, you love. If you love, you're going to grieve. So it's just the other side of a coin. Think about a quarter, a penny, a nickel. Grief is nothing but the other side of that coin. If you love deeply, you may grieve deeply, but that doesn't have to be it. Grief is just a transition, is just a transformation. I've always thought to myself, I've lived like 20 lives because I keep reinventing myself. I keep becoming anew. I keep dying to my old self. This is why it's challenging for many to deal with grief because we just only equate it with death. Like, and we mean, when I say death, I mean the spiritual part of our nature leaving our physical body. That is not the only form of grief. I've been grieving my old identity here recently. I've been grieving my family recently. I've been grieving traumatic events in my family recently. I've been grieving my old life as a massage therapist. There's so many things. Grief, 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 grief. Because it's just the understanding of loss and you not getting that back again. We deal with loss. How do we handle it? This is how I got one of the ways I got comfortable. I confronted it. Back in, I don't know if this was 2013, 2014 when I moved to Nashville. I was just had moved there a couple of years prior. I decided to volunteer for hospice care because I've never been afraid of death. I even remember when my grandmother died and I was 11, 12 years old going by the casket and just thinking how beautiful this transition is. So here I am. I signed up for hospice care to volunteer. I got matched with different people. I was there to comfort families within the last days of their loved one dying. And let me tell you, the death process, this is how you become friends with grief. understand what the death process is, how source designed it. There's actually light in death. There's actually peace in death. I saw that with my patients under hospice care. I even saw this when I went to visit my great aunt. Oh, this was Aunt Anna, one of my aunts. We were all sitting in the room, and we're called there because we know she doesn't have long to live. But that's another point I'm going to get to. And I remember her saying, it feels like my whole body is being taken through my anus. I was like, ooh, I'm just sitting over there. Listen, I don't know if anybody else in the room was paying attention, but I was, because I'm that in tune. I love spiritual things. And I'm like, this is so awesome. Because think about it. When we come into the world, we're attached with the umbilical cord. Did you know that when you exit the world, you're probably coming out through your anus? When she said that, I was like, this is so cool. And she's talking about all the people, all her family members who've gone on, and she's seeing them. They're about to greet her. And I just thought this was the most fascinating experience. She's detailing this as everybody's eating their food and uh, gathered around her. She died that night, overnight, after we all left. Because I remember that day I had come from a performance with Ellis Unikas, the band I used to be in. And I felt a sense of comfort and peace by being there at death. And I saw that with other people like Miss Shannon. I was able to be there for about 2 weeks before she died. I helped her write letters to her daughter and her son, because she wrote them one letter, one little card, for all the years she wouldn't be there up until they turned 18, because her children were young. I would massage her, we would talk, she would share some of her Jewish food. What else did I do? I made her pancakes because I went over there one day and she's like, I was telling her about the pancakes that I made, homemade pancakes, and she says, "Can you make me some? I really haven't had an appetite." Because, mind you, she's on hospice care, she's got to take all these meds, but that woman was strong. This is what I'm telling you. Confront death. Be around people who they say are dying. They are not really dying, they are closer to the spirit, they are closer to God than any of us. So, there is no reason to be afraid of grief, to be afraid of death, because grief and death are wrapped in loss. So as I'm over there with Shannon, I'm just getting so much wisdom, so much knowledge about how all of this is intertwined, how we never die. So that's the other thing about grief. When you realize we never die, that's the coolest thing. I was watching last week this interview. Aaron Lyons interviewed this woman who can remember all her past lives. So she knows that we never die. She never forgot who she was. When we are born, we forget who we really are. We have to start a new life and say, "Oh, I'm Elmira now," or "I'm Joe now," or "I'm Barry now." No, because that's the truth of the matter. From a spiritual nature, remember, we are spiritual first before we're physical, because we're so ingrained, insane in the membrane, insane in the brain. The 3D world, the illusion teaches us that this is all we have. This computer, this white top, this headband, those plants, my skin color. No, the 3D is not you. The spiritual is you. So that's what makes us so afraid of grieving, because we think we're losing it forever. We're losing that person forever. We're losing that job forever. We lose that boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, son, daughter. Oh my gosh, I lost my child to miscarriage. And I'm not saying the feelings aren't real, because as humans, yes, we do grieve. We have emotions. There's so many emotions wrapped up in grief, shock, acceptance, bargaining, fear, disgrace, even some joy is in grief. But when you understand that you never die, and this is what I saw when I went face to face with death, dealing with my hospice patients, dealing with those clients who came in to see me for the grief massage. I was able to help them connect the dots between their pain and their grief. I remember distinctly one of my clients who she had come to me because her dad died. And I was just feeling, I can feel things, and you can too. This is not just for me, this is for you. We all have these gifts. And I told her, I said, you know, your ankle pain is associated with your grief. She said, what do you mean? Yes, it is. Sometimes we disassociate, but our body knows before our brain or our heart knows. Your body, that's why when the clients would come in, I got back pain, I got stomach ache, I got IBS, my foot hurt, my knee hurt, my shoulder hurt, my arm hurt, my elbow hurt, all of this stuff. I was able to intuitively connect it with their grief because there would be a date that the pain showed up, and I was like, that ain't that's the same day that your person died? Or isn't that the same day that you went through the divorce? Or isn't that around the same time that your house burned up? Or isn't that the same time that the tornado hit Nashville? I mean, it could be anything. Isn't that the same time that you contracted COVID? That the doctor gave you a diagnosis, or you found out from a repressed memory that you were actually sexually abused? All of these things will show up in your body, and this is why we experience grief. Start looking at your body. What is your body saying about the grief? Become friends with it, because some of us just want to mask it. I didn't mask it this week and last week when Frida died, my frog died. I cried. I'm still crying. I'm still in grief because it's a cycle. When you establish a relationship and a friendship, you know that it's ongoing. Become friends with grief. Don't think, oh, because this loss happened, it's going to end in 6 months, or it's going to, anybody that knows what I'm talking about, you can chime in. Oh, it's going to end in 11 years. It's always going to get better. Yeah, it's going to get better. Things are going to improve. But when you think about it, when you establish a friendship with someone, whether you're a high school friend, you're a work friend, you're a lifelong friend, you go through the ups and downs. You go through the happiness. You might go a while and not talk, but you're still friends. That's how grief is. Be friends with grief. I bet you never thought about it that way, but that's how I became comfortable with it. Oh, okay. Here's the other thing that I've learned about grief. When you lose something, it actually clears your energy for what's new. I've been doing a lot these past 3 years, and more specifically since January, working on my wealth, expanding my wealth. I am a millionaire. I am a millionaire. I am in a healthy, fruitful relationship and a millionaire. I used to separate the two and say, oh, I can't have love and money. Yes, you can. You can have whatever you want. Anything is possible. Source says anything is possible. But when you ditch the old stuff, you clear your energy to invite in stuff. Think about it. Our space, your energy is just like a shelf, or it's just like a room. Let's say you're redecorating your living room. Are you going to keep the old couch, or you going to get a new couch? You want a new couch, so dump it. We got to dump the old energy. I've been having to dump some friends and family members. That's the reality of it, because they cannot go with me on this journey. You got to recognize, because, and it may not be permanent. Remember, we said this is an ebb and flow. You got to realize who can be in your sphere right now as you go after your goal. And it's tough because we want to carry all these people around in our backpack. Oh my goodness, I got to have my brother with me. I got to have my cousin with me. I got to have Uncle Bobo with me. I got to have my teacher with me. No, you're going to find a new teacher. Like, think about it. This is the school year just ended for many. Yeah, we cry and say, oh my gosh, I got to go from fourth grade to fifth grade, but that's what life is like. Your spirit, your soul wants to advance. You can't keep the same teacher. You can't keep the same desk. You can't keep the same textbook. You can't keep the same friends. You can't keep the same people. You may not even be able to be in the same city, the same house, the same words, the same language. I even change my nails. We gotta be willing to shift, become friends with grief because it's just showing you you're welcoming in your new. It's a transition into your new self, your new health. How are you going to achieve new levels of wealth? And wealth is anything. It could be greater health. It could be a marriage. It could be a new house, a new city, a baby, a family, a business. How are you going to get it if you're still holding on to the old? You got to clear your energy. And I've been doing that this week. I've been doing two things specifically. I'm in this course with Gulara. Oh my goodness, she is so amazing. Amazing healer. 5 day course, 5 day challenge course, whatever you want to call it. And then I also did with this woman who does 5D energetics. We've been doing a 9 day expansion thing. So I had to put some names in a bottle, in a salt bottle. I mean, we doing massive stuff over here. Are you? Are you clearing your energy or are you too afraid to confront the grief? And I'm telling you, I've been over here screaming, crying, releasing. Ah! You might think, oh, why is she screaming on the podcast? Because I got to let you know that's what I be doing. It flows out like that because you got to be friends with grief. Why are you so afraid to move your body? The grief is sitting in your body. Clear the energy. It starts with the physical, tapping, all of that. Tap your body, let it go, and you will feel the difference. One thing I did this month, or last month rather, I cleared out some old Facebook friends. I was like, I don't even talk to these people. I don't talk to these people from high school, from college, from Nashville, from other sectors in my life. Why am I holding on? And I could feel the release off of my body. It was clearing my energy. How are you going to let more in on the shelf, the new furniture, the new man, the new car, the new money, if you're holding on to what's funny? It ain't there. Stop holding on. Holding on, that's a song. Why are you holding on to what you don't even want anymore? Let me see what else I wrote down. Oh, this is good. Sometimes we can't become friends with grief because of the collective grief. And we've been seeing it this week. They try to play on us as so called black people all the time because they know they can try to catch us back in. They ain't catch me with this Carmelo Anthony thing and with the other young man in South Carolina. They got me in 2016, they ain't get me again because that is not something I'm going to spend my energy on. It doesn't mean I'm ignoring it. It just means I understand the collective grief when it comes to racism, when it comes to war, when it comes to sexism. You got to identify and shine the light on it. Sometimes we're just so in protest that we continue to act as a victim instead of a victor over the grief. Stop acting as a victim and be a victor. What can we actually do for these situations? Maybe you can do a ritual for them and you know that that young man is not going to be in jail. Maybe protesting ain't it. If you feel that it's it, that's it. But understand when it's the collective grief and not your grief. I had to pay attention to that too because I'm a person. I've known this since a child. I absorb everybody's energy. So if the adults were in the room, my parents, grandparents, whoever, and they were in pain, it won't really my pain. I was absorbing their pain. I was like, what is this? This ain't mine. And that's why becoming a massage therapist was so helpful, because I learned to ground and I learned to separate. Not to say it still don't happen, because I can feel the collective grief. And we've been dealing with a lot of collective grief since COVID. We ain't even got over that shit. Nobody talks about it in probably in sectors of the population. People just kind of poo-poo it and we moved on. We don't talk about all the people who died. We don't talk about all the people who shifted their jobs, people who had to move, people who separated in family because some wanted to get the shot, some didn't want to get the shot. I'm telling you, it was a whole lot of BS going on in COVID, separation. But true love, true grief is in union. It's in the middle. It's not black or white. It's in the middle. Go back and listen to that Michael Jackson song called Black or White. Even though it said it doesn't matter if you're black or white, he was really giving symbolism that is not this side or that side. It's in the middle. That's where true love resides. That's where true grief resides. In the middle. Ask yourself, are you dealing with collective grief? Are you allowing other people, what you've seen on the news or what somebody told you, to upset you and you're not even really upset? You just upset, and it's all important to acknowledge it, not to say, "Oh, I shouldn't be upset. I shouldn't be sad. I shouldn't be angry. I shouldn't be depressed." No. Feel the emotions, give yourself space, time to be friends with grief. Feel those emotions and then act. What am I going to do? What am I going to do with this transition? Because you should be able to alchemize the grief. That's what I've been able to do. I want to talk about this because a lot of times, and we see it as a bad thing, but it's not, because we tend to look at celebrities and say, "Oh, they sacrifice their loved one for fame." I mean, do you know whether that's true or not unless you were there during the sacrifice? But let me tell you what that means energetically. You do have to sacrifice something in your old life to claim a new identity. So let's take, I don't know why Rihanna is coming to mind. No, I'm going to use Kanye West. So let's use Kanye West. Everybody rag on Kanye West. And his birthday was actually this week, too. Maybe ragging on him. And he lost his mom during the early part of his career. And somebody might say, "Oh, he sacrificed his mom, the master teacher, and da da da." Did he? Did he not? Maybe he did. Maybe Source was saying, "You cannot achieve the levels that I need for you if you're still clinging on to your mom." I felt the same thing when my dad died in 2018. People may think this is strange, but I felt like I got a boost because he was able to assist me from the other side. Yes, I was sad. Yes, I felt like I looked crusty back then. I spoke at the funeral and all, but yeah, I felt crusty. I'm just going to say it. But the year after, even a couple of months after, I felt this sense of empowerment, because me clinging on to whatever that relationship was and how I had to forgive him years ago and all the things I wish he would have did, and my parents and that story, and I had to go collect his belongings, and I have his saxophone. I got all that stuff. I felt heightened. And I'll tell you, within a month, I was featured on this show. Y'all might remember this show that used to come on called Pickler and Ben. I decided to go there to be in the audience. And they picked me. This is what I'm saying. Sometimes you think it's a sacrifice, it's just an opening for something greater. They picked me to sit in the front row. They even picked me to dance during the credits, like to get on the stage and dance for everybody, because I was open. I was ready. I had become friends with grief. When you release your grief, you open up for new things. Even when somebody dies, you may see it as a loss, but don't just only see it as a loss. See it as what is welcoming in for you, the greatness it can welcome in. Were you holding a lot of space for that person? Were you holding a lot of space for that job? I saw this in 2023 too. When I lost my massage office in my apartment, I talked about this many times. I was holding on to so much with my old life that I couldn't invite in my new life with Terrence. Ended up moving to Atlanta. Sometimes this what source will do. This what God will do. If you don't transition, because you need to be listening to your soul mission, if you don't transition quick enough, they gonna push you out. Tell me if that ain't true. You're gonna be like forced to move out. It's like you're in 10th grade and you don't want to go to the 11th. They gonna force you. They gonna be like, no, you got to get out. Or the parent who has to kick the child out. They don't want to leave on their own. That's what spiritually happens too. Sometimes you gotta get kicked out into a transition, into a transformation, because you wasn't gonna take it on your own. Breathe. I gotta breathe right now myself. I feel like I've been doing a lot of clearing, a lot of releasing, like my throat chakra, my root chakra, my heart chakra, just everything. This is grief. You got to pay attention to your body. That's why I'm touching my throat right now. That's how you become friends with grief, too. I didn't write this on my paper, but I'm going with it. Touch the parts of your body that feel the grief. You ain't gotta go see a massage therapist. Go see massage of you. Be like, my throat hurts. That's why I'm massaging my neck right now. Massaging my larynx, my chest. Silence is golden. Sometimes we suppress the grief too because we don't want to feel it. So we fill our space and time with television, phone, people, company, friends with benefits, sex, drugs, marijuana, food, you name it, fast. Fast from social media, fast from food, fast from people. Get in a quiet space so you can actually feel what the grief is doing. You got to feel in order to heal. Let me say that again. You must feel in order to heal. Stop suppressing. Stop holding it a secret. Stop saying, "Oh, that wasn't a big deal. Oh, that didn't bother me. Oh, it didn't bother me when I had that breakup. Oh, it really didn't bother me when the hurricane hit Katrina. Oh, what the heck is going on?" Okay. It didn't bother me when that person hit me in that car accident. Yes, it did. Be honest. The One of the first things you got to do with being friends with grief is just be honest and say, "I'm grieving." That's what I've been doing this past week. I'm grieving a lot of stuff that came to surface from my childhood. Stuff I'm realizing and recognizing. I like, you gotta feel it. You gotta scream it out. You gotta write it out. You gotta feel it out. You gotta dance it out. Oh, I love that. Put on some dancing. I was actually dancing with my student the other day. Put on salsa music. I've been listening to Joe. Did y'all see his Tiny Desk came out? Go listen to that. Cause sometimes it's R&B. It could be classical music. It could be jazz music. It could be rock, country, whatever soothes you in that moment. It's comforting. That's one thing I like about Joe's music. All I wanna do, all love, things your man won't do, I'll do them for you. And sing too, because that opens up your entire body from the root. You do not have to be a singer to sing out your grief. Become one with your entire body. That's how you become friends with grief. Stop shutting it off. Oh, I gotta go to work. My bereavement time is over. So the end is there. Or they told me after my pregnancy, I only get 6 weeks and then I got to go back to work. Who told you that crap? If you need to grieve your whole life, I know a lot of women deal with some type of postpartum symptoms. I'm not even going to call it depression, but there's a technical medical diagnosis for that. But if you're dealing with that grief because you're like, I'm in motherhood, so I can no longer be the same woman I was before. Yes, you're going to grieve. I can no longer be the same person I was before, the same man I was before, the same whatever. And a lot of us are going through that in this time period. No matter when you watch this session, you're going through that. I know it because that's how the energies are. It's a lot happening in this world. Celestially, we just had a conjunction last night. What was it? Venus? I can't even remember. I think it was Venus and Jupiter, to tell you the truth. And it's so funny because my boyfriend told me his Jupiter finger was messed up. But that's all these hands, that's why you got to get in touch. Your hands are in alignment with the planets too. This is your Jupiter finger, your pointer finger. It deals with leadership. That's why we're always, if you see, notice a leader speaking, they use this finger. Even a singer will reach because it's giving you wealth, provision, leadership, direction. We point with this. If I say somebody's like, Elmira, I need directions to the Piggly Wiggly, or I need directions to Kroger. We point and say, oh, go over there, go over there. These finger these your body is so sensational. And I break down the word sensational. It's always sensing things. It's sensing the variety of emotions. And it's not by chance we have all these muscles, these bones, these organs. Feel into them, breathe into them. In traditional Chinese medicine, some practitioners direct you to smile at your organs, especially smile at your lungs. The lungs are connected with grief. Because, oh, let me tell you a revelation I had about that yesterday as I was prepping for this. Why are the lungs connected with grief? This is what was downloaded to me. Because we said grief is love, love is breath, breath is life. What happens when somebody dies? What's the last thing they lose? Their breath. It's even reminding me of that song by Destiny's Child. I used to dance to that song. Well, I was learning a choreography to that song with the group. Make me lose my breath. Because they're saying that's the emotion of love, the experience of love. I'm losing my breath. It's in the lungs. Grief sets in the lungs. What are your lungs telling you? What are your lungs telling you about love? Maybe you need to reset your love because you've gone through so much grief. When we look at that coin where love is on one side, grief is on the other side, how often has your coin been on the side of grief than love? You can flip it. It's all the same. Just flip the coin. It's your choice. You have the power to do anything. There is no time limit. Stop listening to 3D. Stop listening to the doctors. Oh, it should take you that amount of time. No, you command and you demand. You are sovereign. If you say, I'm going to grieve for 1 week, or I'm going to cry for 24 hours, I'm going to allow myself this amount of time. And then if I feel something else arising, I'm going to deal with it. Your lungs. Do some breath work. Find out about breath work. The beautiful thing in this day and age, there's so many practitioners, there's so much free stuff on TikTok, on YouTube. It's everywhere. The thing is you just have to apply it. The application comes with my OCD method, order, consistency, discipline. How are you just watching these videos? Are you just watching these podcasts and never doing anything? You can't become a better human like that. You have to apply. You have to activate. You have to know. True knowing comes in doing, not just talking about grief. You got to do grief. Again, it's a relationship. Friends with grief. Stop just only reading stuff, listening to stuff, scrolling stuff. No, activate it, live it, do something, do one thing. That's why I'm always big about the soul work that we share. Because I these are not this is not just a podcast, it's a class. It's a class for you to learn from, for you to apply the knowledge, not just sit and listen. Allow your cells to do something else. Allow your organs to do something else. Allow your lungs to do something different. Allow your ears to hear something different. Allow your voice to speak something different. Improve your relationship with yourself. Improve your relationship with all the people you love. Because you shouldn't wait till death of something, whether it's a person, you lose the job, to grieve. No, sometimes you may have to grieve, notice that, and it's all about noticing the changes, the transitions while you're still in it. A lot of times, grief hurts so much and it feels so rough because we did not confront the person, the situation, the job, the relationship before it died. So everything comes as a shock and a surprise. No, you got to understand that number one, nothing ever dies. And number two, it's inviting in something new. But if you just say, oh, this was the only job I could have, this is the only woman I could get, this is the only man I could get, that's a lie. Stop lying to yourself. You telling me this world ain't abundant. It's so much love. It's so much joy. It's so many people. Even when you lose somebody as close as a parent or your spouse, there will always be people to step in. I'm not saying they're going to fulfill the same role, but watch. God is always sending you comfort, and it comes from unexpected places. Because just last week, one of the person who comforted me was my student, the same one who I skipped out. I had to skip because I was grieving. She checked in on me. I did not expect that. But that's the thing, friends with grief. You will be sent opportunities, people to show you love, especially when you welcome it in. But if you're that person who shuts people out, or because we all do that, this is human nature, because we want to grieve alone, we want to grieve in silence. You can't do that. It's like one of our guests, Cecilia, said on the show. She does these heart what she call them? It's like she do these heart sessions where people get together in a group. It is advantageous to be in a group of those grieving. I went to grief circles like that. It doesn't mean you got to go all your life or every Thursday night this year. No, go when you need to. Okay, I only have one piece of soul work for you, and it is this. Identify where grief lives in your body. So that's the soul work. Identify where grief lives in your body and become friends with it by touching it. So let me say that again. Identify where grief lives in your body, become friends with it by touching it. Show it some love. Because grief is love. But you've been ignoring it. You've just been saying, oh, my back pain, I'm going to take a pill. Oh, my chest hurts. Is it a heart attack? It could be a heart attack, but a lot of times it's just grief. And you got to give some attention to it. Remember, your soul is calling you to greatness. Be a soldier. You are ready for war. We will see you next time. It has been a pleasure. Goodbye.